Teresa Helfer. I'm a registered dietitian at the Crosstown and St. Louis Park Lifetime Fitness locations, and I went to culinary school a few years ago, so I'm going to share a few tips with you, a few easy, fast recipes that make your, well, today, vegetable consumption more exciting. For this recipe, we have some fresh chopped garlic. We have a mix of spices here, some black peppercorns, some cumin seeds, some coriander seeds, and then here we have some turmeric mixed with some chili peppers. So it'll give it a little kick and a nice shot of antioxidants with that turmeric there. We also have a head of cauliflower, which is the main ingredient in this dish, and a shallot. So pretty simple, just these few ingredients. So today we're going to focus on roasting vegetables. It's a new kind of cooking vegetables. It kind of brings out the caramelization, new flavors to these vegetables. So it brings out another interest to some plain vegetables that you might use every day. The first recipe that we're going to make is called turmeric roasted cauliflower. So we have turmeric, some nice herbs and spices, some garlic, and a shallot, which looks like this when it's not peeled. So basically we're just going to chop up the cauliflower, toast these herbs and spices, and then throw everything right in the oven. So the first step for this is taking the cumin, the coriander, and the peppercorns and toasting them on the stove. So this just brings out some of the flavors of the spices. Since part of the goal here is to bring in some recipes that are pretty easy but flavorful, and so if you want to skip this step, you can use already ground herbs or spices in this mix instead of going through this step. But this just adds another dimension of flavor to the recipe. So this is really fast. You just put it in a dry saucepan and over like low medium heat or so, and you wait until the spices start to become really fragrant. So it's about 30 seconds. Just kind of keep them moving a little bit so they don't burn. You can already smell the cumin and the coriander. It's really aromatic. These herbs and spices are used a lot in Indian cuisine, and they're excellent for digestive health, actually. And we also have peppercorn in here, and later we're going to add some turmeric, and the peppercorn actually helps to digest the turmeric and absorb the turmeric. So the turmeric has a lot of healing properties. It has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties, but it's kind of a larger molecule, and the active ingredient has a hard time getting absorbed into the system. But for some reason, there's something called pipalin in black pepper that helps to absorb some of that turmeric. So we get all of the good health benefits of the pepper and of the turmeric. All right, that is nice and fragrant, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn the burner off and put them in my little coffee grinder over here. It's just a $20 coffee grinder from Target. You can buy really expensive spice grinders too, but this one works just as well. So I'm gonna put those in there and grind them until it's a fine powder. Alright, that should do it. So I'm just going to leave those there and pour them on when we're ready for them. Alright, then over here we're going to just prep the cauliflower. Just going to make florets out of this. So I already cut the bottom stem off here, and then I'm just going to go around and release these florets here. So that's simple. Just go around the middle section there. And then we'll take some of these larger florets that didn't end up our nice size like this one, and just cut them in half. So just cut them down the stem-wise, and then just tear the floret part apart. The tearing is just gives it a little bit more of an organic look. You don't really have to do that. You can cut all the way across if you want to. It's just aesthetics. Cauliflower is nice in this recipe, because I hear a lot of people say that cauliflower is really boring, doesn't have a whole lot of flavor, not a lot of interest, but with all of these herbs and spices, it actually has a really good flavor, and it's a great way to get one of these cruciferous vegetables in your diet. Cauliflower is in the same family as broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, so all those cruciferous vegetables that have all those good cancer-fighting properties to them. So this is just a fun new way to get some more of those kind of vegetables in your diet. I'm going to use this pan. So I'm just going to put this cauliflower right in here. So basically I took a shallot that looked like this and I cut off the end and peeled it back. And then from there I'm just going to take this and slice it thinly into rings. Shallots can be just as strong as onions, and you might end up with some tears in your eyes. One of the ways to help combat that is by running it under water after you peel it. That helps to get rid of some of those compounds that make you cry. So then we're just going to take these rings, kind of separate them a little bit, mix them in with this cauliflower. It's kind of a big shallot. Usually shallots are tiny. It's kind of a lot of shallot to cauliflower ratio here, but the shallot will bring out a lot of good sweetness into this dish. So we're just going to mix that in there. We're going to pour in about 2-3 cloves of garlic here. And we're going to pour in this turmeric and chili powder, or chili flakes rather. Ooh, I'm crying a little bit. And then we'll unplug the spice grinder and pour in the pepper, the cumin, and the coriander. Once you start using these for spices, I wouldn't go ahead and use this for coffee anymore. That might give your coffee an interesting flavor. Reserve that one for spices. All right, and then we're gonna add just enough olive oil to coat the vegetables and help the spices stick to the vegetables. All right, and before I get my hands dirty, I'm also gonna add a little sea salt. I like the Celtic sea salt because it has more flavor, so you don't need to use quite as much of it. And also there's a lot of minerals in here. There's some magnesium, some potassium. It's not just chlorine and sodium like table salt is. So I'm just gonna mix this together. It's a little dry, add just a little bit more olive oil. This looks like it's pretty good though. And then you're going to spread it out evenly around the bottom of the pan and stick it in the oven. And you have yourself a very flavorful, very nutritious, full of antioxidants and cancer-fighting nutrient side dish.